Viewer discretion is advised. What follows is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is the actual federal courtroom testimony from the trial of Sean Diddy Combs, as reported by Inner City Press. The courtroom was silent as the judge called the next witness. Shockingly, it was R&B star Usher Raymond. This wasn't about music or business disputes, it was about what Usher says really happened inside Diddy's world. Usher, who had stayed quiet for years, is now speaking out as Diddy faces serious charges like trafficking, coercion, and abuse. Usher described being just 14 when he moved into Diddy's New York penthouse, thinking he was going to learn how to become a star. Instead, he says he was exposed to an unhealthy lifestyle filled with alcohol, strangers, and adult situations no teenager should witness. He spoke about waking up to disturbing scenes that seemed more like rituals than parties. He was told not to ask questions, just watch and learn. Usher said no one warned him, not his mother, not his label, about what he was really stepping into. He described Diddy's powerful influence and how young artists were drawn into this world, expected to stay silent in exchange for fame. He didn't name others yet but hinted more people would speak out. One of the most disturbing parts was a private trip to the Caribbean when he was 15. Usher said it became clear he wasn't there to learn music, and though he held back details, he emphasized he had no choice in what happened. The courtroom was completely silent as Usher continued his powerful testimony. He told the court it took him years to understand the manipulation he experienced while under Diddy's influence. After a trip they took together, Usher said Diddy became more controlling, constantly surrounding himself with new people, hosting endless parties, and reminding Usher who gave him this life. Usher looked directly at Diddy and said, "You didn't give me this life. You gave me nightmares." He then described being given a contract at 16 that included a confidentiality clause. At the time, it seemed like a normal legal document, but now Usher believes it was designed to keep him quiet about things he witnessed. His mother had to co-sign it, and he trusted the adults around him. Years later, when he tried to speak out in an interview, he was warned by Diddy's legal team not to risk his reputation. He also received vague threats from people still connected to Diddy, making it clear that breaking the silence came with serious consequences, not just for his career, but possibly for his safety. Usher even brought a copy of the NDA to court, and the judge allowed it as evidence. Some of the language, about videos and privacy, now seemed disturbing, especially with recent claims about Diddy's alleged secret recordings. Usher admitted it made him question his own reality, as if he wasn't allowed to believe what he saw. He then spoke about a night in 1996, when he was 17 and taken to a mansion party in Atlanta. It seemed glamorous at first, celebrities, models, music, but what changed everything was a secret room guarded in the back. Diddy told him, "You're not ready for that yet," but Usher peeked inside and saw people wearing masks. "I still don't know what I saw," he said, "but I know it wasn't right." He also shared entries from a personal journal, where he wrote about suspicious moments, like dinners focused on loyalty, or nights he chose not to attend because there were too many secrets. When asked why he had never shared any of this before, Usher said he was scared no one would believe him and afraid of losing everything. But now, he felt it was finally time to tell the truth. In one of the most emotional parts of his testimony, he described a meeting set up by Diddy in Miami in 1997 with a wealthy investor who could help launch Usher's world tour. Usher was told to dress sharp and act professional, but when he arrived, he found 3 men in robes, drinking champagne, with young women sitting silently in the background. One man touched his shoulder and said, "You can stay or leave, but you'll never get an opportunity like this again." Usher left, and shortly after, his career began to suffer. He was removed from a tour, and a big-name producer suddenly backed out of working with him. Usher told the court that after he left the hotel suite in Miami, everything changed. No one said it directly, but after that night, doors that had always been open to him suddenly closed. He also testified that a few weeks later, Diddy showed him a disturbing video on a handheld camera. It featured another young artist doing something Usher believed he never would have agreed to willingly. When asked if Diddy had threatened him, Usher said he didn't have to, the people around him did. They used silence and isolation as control. That's when Usher realized fame in Diddy's world wasn't about talent, it was about submission. The mood in the courtroom shifted as cameras focused on Usher's face. "This is the hardest part," he said, "because it's not just about me anymore." He began talking about Justin Bieber's early career. Usher had helped launch Bieber, hoping to be a big brother figure. But things changed when Diddy got involved. Usher said Diddy invited Bieber, just 15 at the time, to Flavor Camp, the same term he had used with Usher years earlier. One night in 2011, Bieber called Usher, saying only, "I want to come home," before going silent for 2 days. When they saw each other again, Bieber avoided eye contact and insisted he was fine, but Usher testified he wasn't. Usher said he confronted Diddy directly, asking what he was doing to these kids. Diddy allegedly replied, "Same thing they did to me. It's how the game works." After that, Usher distanced himself but said seeing what happened to Bieber pushed him to speak up. He also shared that in 2018, he received an anonymous call with a chilling message, "Tell him to keep his mouth shut, or we'll shut it for him." When asked who he thought was behind it, Usher looked directly at Diddy's defense team. Usher then described a private party in 2002 in the Hollywood Hills that marked the final breaking point for him. It was supposed to be a business meeting with a European producer, but when he arrived, there were no producers, just security, dim lighting, and guests forced to sign aggressive NDAs. Phones were taken at the door. Usher said the atmosphere felt wrong. He noticed that many guests weren't artists or industry people, they were just watching. He saw several familiar celebrity faces but didn't name them, suggesting others would come forward as the trial went on. The most disturbing part came when he tried to leave but was stopped and brought to a room where Diddy sat. Diddy told him, "You still think this is about music? This is bigger than that." Usher left and never went to another party hosted by Diddy again. His testimony then turned to business practices. He revealed that as a teen, he unknowingly signed a contract locking him into 5 albums and giving away rights to his music until age 35. He said he just wanted to sing and didn't know what he was agreeing to. He also said many bad boy artists, like Carl Thomas, Total, Black Rob, and Craig Mack, had similar contracts, pulled in with promises, then dropped when they stopped being useful. Usher revealed a private accountant once showed him royalty records that showed he had been shorted over $4.3 million. When he asked Diddy about it, Diddy laughed and said, "If you knew what you were really owed, you wouldn't sleep at night." Court documents also showed other artists took quiet settlements, small payments just to perform or use their names again. Usher said he tried to organize a secret meeting with other artists in 2011 to confront these issues, but someone warned Diddy, and the meeting was shut down. One of the most chilling parts of his testimony was when he claimed Diddy ordered the destruction of demo tapes and footage from an artist who had threatened to speak out. That artist has since disappeared from the public eye. "I don't know where he is, nobody does, but I remember his voice. And I remember that he was scared," Usher said. The courtroom was silent. Finally, when asked why he hadn't come forward sooner, Usher broke down. His response was quiet but haunting. Usher said the most heartbreaking part of it all was that he thought he owed Diddy. For years, he stayed silent, trying to convince himself he could move on and still feel grateful, but as he put it, "You can't be grateful for a lie." The guilt weighed on him as he watched other young artists fall into the same trap, unsure of how to help without risking everything he had built. "It was always about leverage," he said, and Diddy had all of it. Usher revealed that in 2016, when a controversial interview clip resurfaced online, he tried to confront Diddy privately, but Diddy's legal team shut it down. The courtroom fell silent when Usher read an old, unpublished journal entry he had written the night he walked away from Diddy's mentorship. "I survived Puffy, but did the kid in me survive? I still don't know." He ended his testimony by speaking directly to the court, to the victims watching, and to young artists looking up to powerful figures in the industry. "This isn't just about one man, it's about a system that taught kids like me to stay silent, to never question the hand that feeds you. But I'm not afraid anymore, not for me, because I lived through it. I'm doing this for the ones who didn't." What started as a trial about federal crimes had become something deeper, a reckoning with decades of silence in the music industry. Usher then shared something the public never knew. After releasing 8701 in 2001, he vanished from the spotlight for a week. Many thought he just needed rest, but in court, Usher revealed he had checked into a private mental health facility under a fake name. The breakdown was triggered by unresolved trauma from his teenage years living with Diddy. By age 20, he had regular panic attacks brought on by things as simple as lights, music, or crowds. One night, while staying in a hotel that used to be the site of one of Diddy's parties, the scent of a candle sent him into a full panic. "My body froze. I started shaking. I couldn't breathe," he recalled. That night, his team rushed him to a clinic, where he was diagnosed with PTSD. He spent nearly 2 years in therapy before he could sleep without nightmares. Usher never named names but hinted that other young artists under Diddy's influence suffered too. Some disappeared, others broke down, and one overdosed. "I was lucky," he said. "I had the money to get help. Others didn't." When asked why he waited over 20 years to tell this story, Usher answered simply, "Because nobody would have believed me. In 2001, Puffy was untouchable, and I was just a kid with a voice. But now, the world is ready to listen." The courtroom sat still, not just from shock, but from the weight of what he'd revealed, that behind every hit song, every award, every tour, there may have been a young artist fighting an invisible battle just to survive. Now, Usher was speaking not only for himself but for every voice that had been silenced.